You have free will to choose with intention how you want to make an impact with your life, with your business. Business is actually such a vehicle for good. I just really believe pain is never wasted. Business is not always just highs. It's not always just new records. There's also lows and things.
Really high highs and like I said, the biggest lows we've ever had. And this episode is going to break down all of those.
We actually got to go hear the heartbeat and see the baby in person, which wow, that was the most life-changing thing that's ever happened to me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Rise Podcast, the final episode for 2025 before we get into 2026. And this is, if you will, a little bit of a wrapped episode. I was sitting, full transparency, I was lying in bed the other day and it was probably 1, 2 a.m. I am a sleeper. I'm a really good sleeper.
Joey's really good at sleeping.
And I could not sleep very well. And I was just up and my brain was running and racing. And I thought, we should do not a Spotify Wrapped, but the idea of that for the podcast and just talk about what are our highs from this year here at Creative Rise and what are our lows. So this episode is going to be telling you guys about some of our highest highs and breaking down some of our lowest lows, actually our lowest lows.
Yes.
And it's been an incredible year, really high highs and like I said, the biggest lows we've ever had. And this episode is going to break down all of those in somewhat of a podcast Creative Rise Wrapped.
Creative Rise Wrapped. It's a personal podcast. Yeah. It's
this
a look
also,
behind the scenes of our photo and video business, and then also personal life stuff. It's going to be
this is also going to be the most personal podcast we've actually ever done.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're up for that, stay tuned.
Everybody.
In a good way. It's going to be some great stuff. But we're really excited about this. This is probably one of my more exciting episodes, to be honest, all year, because it's fun, one, to recap the year. Second, I think what we're talking about is really cool and important to talk about the highs and the lows. And what we're doing as a community right now with Creative Rise is awesome.
And exciting.
It's going to create a lot of impact in the world. And we want to share that with you and invite you into that. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of this episode or towards the end of this episode. So make sure you stay towards the end because that's awesome. We're super excited about that. But let's talk about some highs.
Let's start with the good stuff.
Let's start with the good stuff.
It's always fun to start with the good stuff.
We got a list of a couple highs. This is just a list of a few things. Couple highs, couple lows. Definitely not all the highs. Definitely not all the lows. But this year was fun because we actually hit the biggest revenue month that we've ever had in the existence of my business, the existence of Christy's business, and the existence of our businesses coming together and becoming one business, which is Spirits Collective, which is our content agency. And in the month of February, our first high is that in the month of February 2025, our business did $108,000 in photo, video, and brand strategy projects just in the month of February, which is crazy.
That was crazy.
To say that we used to dream about it in six-figure years, years and years ago, to now hitting six-figure months is really, really cool.
And
full transparency, we didn't hit any other six-figure months. Just to normalize this and so everyone knows, we are not doing $100,000 a month, but we did $108,000 that month, which was awesome, which was really, really cool.
And what was actually crazy is that a year ago, or in 1 month, 1 year ago, we did a podcast that talked about how it was a discouragement podcast. We were talking about how we were
this was what, December?
December
2024.
Yes. Or it was right at the beginning of the new year, something like that. And we were talking about, and we were oh man, here's some just things that we didn't do right and blah, blah, blah. And just not a discouragement, but just an open, here's the highs and lows of business.
Well, it was what to do when you're discouraged.
Yes.
Right. That was the episode that we did.
Yeah. And it was great to be able to talk about that because business is not always just highs. It's not always just new records. There's also lows and things like that. But that month came after that episode. Yeah, it was
crazy. We actually took our own advice. We did what we were talking about on the podcast.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 months later, we hit our biggest month we've ever had, which was $108,000. So that's the first high, which is really cool.
Very cool. The next high from this year, which is really exciting, is that we hit six figures, $108,000, which is so weird because the $108,000 month and then $108,000 with one retainer client, which is a new record.
Just from one client, which is awesome.
Which is a new record for a retainer client for this year, which has been awesome. So we just love retainers. We'll tell you that till we are blue in the face. We love retainers. We love the consistency. And if you develop those relationships with people over the years, it can grow and grow and grow. And we are so privileged to be able to work with this client. It's awesome.
It's kind of fun to look back at the end of the year and look at which clients made the most money. So that client was our biggest client this year, $108,000. Our second biggest client, I think, was $62,000. So quite a big jump.
Yeah.
But still, 62 grand from one business is quite a substantial amount of money. So that was awesome. So
super cool. Go Retainers.
That's really cool. Another high is that we got to help out branding. This was just a personal high for me. We got to help professional too, but we got to do a brand strategy project in the first 2-3 months of this year. And it was helping a fintech company completely rebrand. So we did everything from helping them switch their name to all of their visual brands. So everything from new fonts, colors, logos, the whole spiel, all the way to all their mock-ups, all the way into their narrative. And we ended up redoing their whole website and web presence, all their UI and UX for the acquisition process. Because it's a fintech app, it's a buy now, pay later company. And that's really cool because they are growing super fast and they're on their way to becoming $1 billion company. And I'm excited to see it happen. And it's going to be cool to be brand. Man, we were there at the very beginning. We helped shape that brand, which is awesome. So that's a high for me this year. That was a really, really fun project to work on, kind of like a dream project. And stoked on that.
Another high for me was we got to work with a company, a female hydration company that we had actually helped bring to market. Was it last year? Yeah, that was last year.
2024.
Yeah. We helped bring them to market, get a bunch of assets for them. It was awesome. We did brand strategy for them, but we did a bunch of content for them. They reached out again this year because they were doing a full rebrand, full new product suite, everything like that, and needed a full new campaign to cover everything. And so we did a massive all-day campaign for them, and it stretched us in pre-production in ways that I have never been stretched before. And it was awesome. The most prepared I've ever felt on a shoot. And it was really cool to be in a challenging, okay, we've got all of these assets we need for the day, all this stuff for web and for social posts and videos and photos. We got all this stuff, UGC, and we have one day to make it all happen. And really was able to just dial in all of our pre-production in a really cool way. And we were able to just bust out on shoot and just get so much done. And it just the creative vision came together. The team we were working with really came together. It was I think that was one of my favorite shoots all year because it was challenging, but the end result was so, so cool. And the client was so happy, which was so fun.
That was sick. Another high, we had our first ever public in-person event this year. We had Creative Rise,
that was so
the
fun.
6-figure creator live event, which was in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. And there was, what was it, 80 people? I think it was 80 people that showed up, which was so freaking epic. We were we've never done an in-person event before that was public. And what I mean by that is we've run in-person events or retreats over the last 6 years here at Creative Rise, but they're always handpicked people, right? They're people that have gone through the mastermind. They're people that get selected to come to these things. We've never done something where we've just publicly put out a $15 ticket and was hey, anyone who wants to come should show up. So that was awesome. That was in, when was that? I think that was the end of July, I think, going into August.
Yeah, it
was. It was about the midway point of this year. That was such a highlight for both of us. That was incredible. We had a ton of fun. We got to meet a ton of you guys who listened to the podcast there at the event, which was so awesome.
We want to do more of them.
Yeah. So we're actually hoping to do another one of them this year. And we might go back to the same place. We might do it in a different city. So if you want us to come to your city and do something
California.
like that, we would love to. So just hit us up. Shoot us a message on Instagram. Let us know where. But
that'd be awesome.
That was a huge highlight. That was awesome.
Yes. And then our final high that we'll talk about is this last round of the mastermind, round 14, broke the record on how much money they made in closed deals during the 6 weeks. So we had how many people in this round of the mastermind?
We had 36.
36 people.
36 businesses.
And they hit a new record. They hit $510,364.25 in just 6 weeks in closed deals, which was so sick.
If you're hanging out with a bunch of creatives, then everyone's like, oh, everyone's just broke. I'm a creative. I'm never going to make any money. That's just not true. You can make money. You just have to be in the right offers. They got to be priced right. You got to be branding them right. You got to be marketing them right. You got to be scaling them right and selling them right. And that's what the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind does. And every time we do it, we take 36 businesses, and round 14 freaking killed it. It's always a little bit of a competition. All the rounds compete against each other to see who's going to be able to collect the most money in deals. which is so fun. So that was a split between wedding photographers, wedding filmmakers, brand photographers, brand filmmakers, designers, content creators, influencers, all making up that 36 businesses, which was super epic. So there's a couple highs. We'd love to know what your highs are from this year. This has been a great year for a lot of people. And we'd love to know what a high is. So if you got one, send it over to us on Instagram. We'd love to read it and hear about it. It's great. We love getting updates from you guys. And people say, hey, I listened to the podcast. This year I doubled my business, or this year I had the biggest deal I'd ever had come in, or this year I got to go on a dream trip overseas and shoot for a brand that I've really been wanting to do, or I started my wedding photography business. Like, let us know what your highs are. We'd love to hear them.
Hey, you know what you should do? Honestly, rather than just messaging us, you should honestly, this is a good idea, post on your Instagram story your highs, almost like your own Wrapped. It could be the Creative Business Wrapped.
I like it.
And you post on your Instagram, what are your highs from this last year? And talk about the clients you worked with that you absolutely loved. Show the BTS. Show what you did. You can just show whatever you want to show, right? And that is actually a really great idea because it, one, helps you celebrate from the year. Two, it's also social proof for all of the people that are potentially wanting to buy from you or hire you or whatever, getting to see all the work that you've done in the past that maybe they forgot about it or totally missed it or had no idea because you actually never shared it in the first place. It's a really great thing to do. So maybe do it on your story and then tag us on Creative Rise and we will repost you so that everyone else can also see your wins. And we celebrate wins around here. We're not shy about that. We love to celebrate.
So make sure you tag us on that. We'd love to see that. But we got some lows. Every year has some lows.
We sure do.
This first one is very embarrassing.
This one's the worst.
It has nothing to do with Christy. It's entirely me. I just almost ruined her life because of this low. But this was a massive low for me.
This was a tough one.
This was a low for me this year. So we're going to do an episode where I break down the whole story on this because it's much needed. But to be honest, it's almost felt like I don't even know how to talk about it because it's like still somewhat recent. But we had a shoot, a all-day shoot. We started at 9 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, and we shot till what time? 6?
Yeah, 6.
Maybe. And Christy shot a couple thousand images on an SD card. Very, very important. The budget.
We shot the whole day on one card, which I normally don't do.
Yeah, the client budget for this was multiple 5 figures. So the client was sinking a lot of money into the shoot. And unfortunately, I made the mistake when Christy's card filled up to say, oh, it's all good. I got dual slots on my camera. Throw me your card. I'll put it in my camera. That way it's safe and I can store it there. So I put it into my B slot in my camera. We're on a beach filming, okay? Sun's going down. We're rushing to get our last shots. Models are there, products there. And I take Christy's SD card, I put it into my camera, and I jump right back into shooting. And I was filming. This is what we always do in our campaigns. I'm often doing all the video. She's often doing all the photo. I go back to shooting this video of this model, and my camera goes, cannot record, card full. And I'm like, what the heck? Why is my camera trying to write to card number 2 when I have a card in slot number 1 that I was already shooting on that's not full? So I got so fed up with it because it wasn't working. I just quickly popped Christy's card out of the card slot, out of slot 2, and I put it into my pocket, and I went, I'm just going to put it in here for 30 seconds, get this last shot, and then I'll put it back in. Well, of course, I didn't do that. And I got caught up with something. Who knows what happened? You're on a shoot. Things get crazy.
Tough, guys.
Later that evening, probably an hour later, we had packed up from this beach. That was like our 5th or 6th location of the day. Literally thousands of images Christy had shot on that card. We're driving back to a camera store to drop off some lighting equipment that we had rented for the day because we were down in SoCal. And all of a sudden I start patting my pockets. I'm like, wait a second, where did I put that SD card? Like it just snapped right back into my brain. Not in my pocket. So I tell Christy very reluctantly, but I had to tell her. I'm like, hey, remember that SD card you gave me?
I can't find the card.
I can't find it.
I'm like, sorry,
but it's okay. We're going to find it. So we pull over the car. We start stripping the whole car, looking everywhere for this. All the cameras, in every inch of the camera bags, in the trunk, all of our gear. We're tearing everything apart. Christy's basically patting every ounce, an inch of my pants, being like, it's got to be in these pockets. It's not in there.
Not in a fun way.
And we literally, no joke, we literally ended up going back to the beach, racing, because here's the 2 problems. It was getting dark. It was basically fully dark by the time we got back to the beach because it was like a 25-minute drive and the sunset was already going down. 2, the tide, we shot at low tide. Yeah. So the tide was coming up. So I was thinking, there's no way. Like if the card is even there, it's gone. I mean, the card is gone, right? Because the tides come in and that's salt water. It's the ocean. It's going to wreck the card.
Yeah.
So I was already thinking, okay, we need to cancel our flight home tomorrow morning. We need to extend our trip 3 days. We need to go back to the client, say, we're so sorry. I messed up. I made a huge mistake. We're going to do the whole shoot over again, completely on our own dime. So it would have cost Christy and I probably 15 grand to like put in all the money back into all the props, the models, the locations, the permits. And I was ready to just have to swallow it. It was so horrible. It was a horrible feeling. And I felt horrible for the client because I was like, this is not how we do business. I feel so terrible about having to fess this up to the client, but we're always honest and we're not going to lie about it. So I'm like, we have to tell them. We raced back to the beach. It's pitch black. We all got our cell phones out. We're looking around. We walked the beach for probably 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, probably
nothing.
40 minutes.
Fine, nothing.
Tides come up. And at the time we gave up, we're looking in the parking lot where we had parked. We're looking on the beach. We're looking at the walkways. Just when we gave up, I give up. I start going and talking to these guys, telling them what we were doing. They're like, we're so sorry, man. That's such a bummer. And one of our friends up on this bluff says, I found the SD card.
It was literally
I just
buried.
About fainted.
Yes.
Literally. It was buried underneath this sand in a bunch of rocks because people have been walking. It fell out of my pocket when I must have pulled my phone out of my pocket at some point walking back to the car. Fell out of my pocket, and then a bunch of people have been walking there. And so sand got kicked all over it. It was buried, and my friend saw the just like a 16th of the SD card was sticking out of the sand, and it was reflecting off his flashlight, and he noticed it and he was like, oh, that's interesting. And he scrapes it away and he could not believe it. It was our SD card. So we rush to the car, we clean it off, and it works. We immediately back up all the files.
It was so bad.
It felt like we got away with murder. I still felt so bad because I was like, that is never an experience that anyone should have to go through. I felt so bad for Christy. She wanted to kill me.
I feel bad for me too.
Respectfully, she wanted to kill me. Anyways, I said I wasn't going to tell the whole story. That's basically the whole story. But it was one of the lowest moments of my entire 10 plus 12, 13, 14 year career doing this professionally. That was incredibly low. So that's my low.
Yes, it was a low that turned into a high, but it was a low.
Go ahead with yours.
Mine's less dramatic. It was just more, here's the thing. I love models. Models are amazing. They make the shoot go round. Models need more praise for what they do on shoots. It's incredible. Probably my low for the year, aside from the SD card and aside from a couple things, is models bailing the day of. For some reason, in the past, I haven't had issues with this, but just this last year, it felt like I had a model bail on every single shoot within 24 hours.
Or multiple
every
models.
single time. Or multiple.
We actually got to a spot where every single shoot we would do, let's say we needed 5 models, you were booking 7 because you were like, I know 2 of them are going to drop.
I literally have had every single shoot. I almost always have someone bail. Although the shoot yesterday, I didn't have anyone bail.
Yeah, that was the first shoot
Although
in a long time.
I planned the shoot in 24 hours, so I guess that's why I didn't have enough lead time for people to bail.
Yeah.
But a lot of just I got a better offer somewhere else, and it was the day of, and I'm like, oh, gosh.
Are you kidding me?
I wish I could make them sign contracts, but I don't think I legally can do that. So,
and that was tough. There was a lot of late nights where we were up. We'd get a message at 11 p.m. and we're starting to shoot at 9 a.m. the next morning.
Scouring the internet.
Yeah, these models are like, hey, sorry, I got a better job, or I'm getting offered more money, or whatever else has happened. Yeah. I don't want to drive, and then they don't come, and then we're like, oh my gosh, we get on the phone, start banging the phones. Who do we know? We need help.
Yeah, we're always able to replace them, but it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, another low. This is a short one, but your computer died. Ripped your computer.
I got my computer at the beginning of COVID, and that little baby served me so well. But it
was time.
I had a really horrible habit of keeping my computer open and running.
You still do. I walk past this office right here all the time, and Christy's computer's just sitting open. The monitor's on. Everything's running. I'm like, Christy hasn't been in her office for 6 hours.
The grind never stops.
And you're not uploading anything. So I come and turn off Christy's computer all the time.
You can look at your computer screen hours. And one of our friends who's does a ton of work, he's just always on his computer. He was like, man, my hours are X amount. My hours were quadruple his hours.
Yeah, your hours were months and
but
months
not
your
from
computer
me
had been
working
on.
that much. It's just from me leaving it open. So anyways, the computer died. And we got a new one. And honestly, it's a high because I love my new computer. It's amazing.
Here's a little tip for when you're buying new computers or new technology from Apple. You should get an Apple business account, and then you should call them and say, hey, I'm looking for a refurbished deal. Yeah. We always buy refurbished laptops because they're computers somebody bought, took back for whatever reason. They didn't like it. It wasn't the right specs. And it gets fully rebuilt, brand new, fully rebuilt, and then they list it as refurbished. So it's a brand new computer.
With a little money off.
And it's, you always get 30-40% off, which is incredible. Yeah. So we did that for my computer, the last 2 computers I've had, and we just did that for your last computer we just bought a couple months ago, and they're phenomenal. So anyways, Yeah, and then also on the personal side, so I'll just jump into this real quick. You can tell the story, but last week I did a solo podcast, and I told you guys that we have not missed a podcast. We have not missed a week of podcasting in years. And last week was the first week, or 2 weeks ago now, the time this comes out, was actually the first podcast that we had missed. And I jumped on here and told you we were going to kind of give you guys an update. But yeah, we actually shared this with some of our community, some of our mastermind grads yesterday on a big year-end review strategy workshop that we do to help everybody wrap up their businesses, which is awesome. We shared this and thought we might share it on the pod and then kind of like spin it into something else we want to talk about.
Yeah. So about now 12, 13 weeks ago, we found out we were pregnant, and we don't have any kids yet or anything like that. So very first pregnancy, we were so stoked. We're so excited, so ready for that chapter of our lives to start. And it was like the coolest thing, just getting to celebrate that and get really pumped about that. And we found out now, at the time of this, at the time of this podcast 2 weeks ago, we found out that we miscarried. And while I know that's a oftentimes common thing to happen to a lot of people, which we're really finding out as we've been going through this, it was still really devastating. And it was something that we really believed that was like a full baby, and that was our baby.
It was a loss of life, yeah.
It was a loss of life. And she was incredible. And we actually got to like go hear the heartbeat and see the baby in person, which like, wow, that was like the most life-changing thing that's ever happened to me.
It's like a miracle. It's like looking at a miracle.
I feel like I'm not naturally like a crazy maternal person, but wow, was that like so life-changing and so cool. So we feel so blessed that we got to experience that, because I know a lot of people when they miscarry, they don't get to experience that.
That was at the 8-week point before,
we found out.
We found out that the baby was no longer alive.
And so then a couple weeks later, things just didn't feel right. And so we went and got checked up, and then they just said that they couldn't find a heartbeat. And so we had a bunch of doctor's appointments, things like that. And yeah, they were able to confirm that we did actually lose the baby. And while this has been 100% the most heartbreaking thing that's happened to either one of us, at the same time, we've honestly cried, at least for me, I've cried more tears of gratitude than I have tears of sadness. And I've cried both for sure, and many of both over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, same.
But so grateful for one, Joey, literally the best husband in the entire world.
I know you're going to turn this into this.
This is going to be your high for the year.
Go off. I like it. I like it.
But literally, like this is like a little older sister moment. It is so important who you marry. Like, I cannot tell you how important it is who you decide that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And one of the things that one of my mentors told me and told us when we were deciding whether or not we were going to get married, or when I was even thinking about getting married at all, she said, find someone that you want to suffer with. Find someone that you can suffer with well. And while that sounds so dark and so sad, it is so true, because the thing that you are always guaranteed in life is suffering. And if you don't have a partner that you can really lean on and rely on, gosh, I don't know how I would have gotten through the last couple of weeks without you.
Yeah,
and
same.
You've just been absolutely unreal in every way. Not only Joey, but like my family, all of our friends here like showed up for us in incredible ways. I feel like I got like a masterclass in caring for people, watching my friends show up for us, which has been so special, and like loving on our baby and like writing letters to our baby, like all these crazy things. But anyways, feel like we are also like, we entered this season with a lot of fear, obviously, when we first found out, and a lot of grief and a lot of sadness, and we'll continue to grieve it.
Well, then you had to go through surgery.
We had surgery,
2
all
weeks
this
ago.
stuff.
That's really why we missed the podcasting.
Yeah.
Because that all happened, and then you had to get surgery, and you've been recovering from that.
Yeah, but we just really have been, I don't know. It's a weird thing to be so grieving and grateful at the same time. You can hold both of those things in the same breath, but it has been, I wanted to share about it because I think a lot of people don't talk about it, and I understand why people don't talk about it. No one has to talk about it publicly. But I wanted to talk about it publicly because I just really believe like pain is never wasted. Like, I think that like we're all guaranteed to suffer, but I think that there is hope in the midst of suffering as well. And there always is. And I think God really has designed all of us to support each other in suffering. And so I think sometimes someone sharing their story and just going like, you're not alone, like this happens to people, and there is like life after suffering and there is life after loss and things like that, it can be encouraging. So if anyone has gone through this, like I see you, we're a part of a club that we never asked to be a part of, but there is a lot of beauty to it. And so yeah, that's our little life update.
That's definitely the biggest loss. That beats the SD card.
100%. Yeah. The SD card was a loss for sure.
That felt like a huge loss.
Yeah, this was our biggest life update we have from this podcast, but we wanted to share it with you guys because we love this community, and it's not always just about business. There is life behind business as well. And so it's all wrapped up into it. So we wanted to share that because we also just want to share about something that we're doing almost in celebration of her life. And we want to share that with you guys, which we're really excited to do. Yeah.
So the timing of this miscarriage, I mean, there's definitely never a good timing for something like a loss of a child. But a couple months ago, actually, maybe like 2 months ago, we started toying around with the idea of what's something we could do as a community here at Creative Rise to make a really big impact on something. Like Christy and I encouraging as many creatives, photographers, filmmakers, social media managers, content creators, designers, whatever you are, to do something, rally behind something and make something happen. And we actually have done this a lot at Creative Rise. If you're newer to Creative Rise, you might not know about this, but over the years, if you've been around for a long time, you would know, and we've talked about this, that we have gotten to do a lot of really cool things through this community here at Creative Rise. Just to list a few of them, right off the top, we've raised about $70,000 for clean water projects down in Nicaragua. So going and taking drilling teams into areas of Nicaragua that either do not have any access to clean water, like there's no wells, there's no drinking water, which is really dangerous because growing up in a place like that, governments don't, invest into structure into those communities because they don't have good water sources. So like they don't put schools, they don't put other stuff, right? And so kids are just really disadvantaged there. And then you obviously have all like the malnutrition stuff of not having clean drinking water and the disease and all that stuff. So either like going into a community that has none of that, or going to communities that already have wells, but they've been abandoned. Those wells have been broken and no one knows how to fix them properly. They need a completely new well. And so getting to raise money to go in and actually refurbish those wells and replace them. So over the last 6 and a bit years, Creative Rise has raised $70,000 to do 6 well projects, which has been really, really cool. And another one that's been awesome is we actually, when we were down in Nicaragua last time, you and I, we actually got to go to a hospital that was birthing babies with zero clean drinking water, zero running water. Literally. Actually, their whole water system and well actually was broken, and the government hadn't fixed it. And we were able to write them a check, and I think it was about, what was it? Was it like $15,000? I think it was. It was something like 15 grand. We were able to write that check for them, and they were able to fully actually fix the water system at this hospital down in Nicaragua, in this rural part of Nicaragua, where they were literally birthing children. And now they have clean drinking water to not only give patients, but also to like clean babies and to do that whole thing. So really cool stuff over the years that we've gotten to do as Christy and I have gotten to lead this community. And there's been so many of you guys involved in those things. And a couple of months ago, it kind of came to the point where we should do something like that again at the end of this year. And a really awesome opportunity got brought to us. And some friends of ours work for an organization called Convoy of Hope, which is definitely Christy and I's favorite nonprofit based here in the U.S. They're one of the biggest charities in the U.S., but they're actually in the top couple percent. I think they're in like the top 1% for the best run and like best financial above board charities in the US. So they're incredibly high performing in terms of their efficiency in doing good. Their overhead is insanely low. They win awards for it all the time. And so this is a charity that Christy and I really, really believe in. They do disaster relief. So if anything happens, anywhere around the world, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, wars, Convoy Hope is one of the first people there. And they're definitely the last people to leave, which is amazing. But they also have a child feeding program that really we felt was put on our hearts to like go after it and feed some kids. And this child feeding program is amazing. They're on a mission to feed 1 million children every single day. So they are currently at 650,000 kids that are getting fed through their child feeding program every single day throughout the whole year. And what's really cool about that is that they think that by 2030, they're going to be at 1 million children every single day. So these kids come into these programs that are often based and kind of structured around schools. That way kids, they want food. So they tell the kids, hey, if you want food, come register for school. So you get an education and you get food. Really, really cool stuff how they do it.
Yeah.
And, they basically came out with this new campaign called Convoy One Day. And One Day is the idea that us Westerners or people that have stuff to give, and everyone listening to this podcast, I would qualify you as somebody who has something to give. We get to look at our income for the whole year, our revenue, divide that by 365, and that gives us 1 day's worth of our wages. And the idea with One Day, with the One Day campaign, is if you were to donate 1 day of your income for the whole year, your revenue for your whole year, what could that do for the world? What could that do for children who are starving, children who are literally dying from malnutrition? And so we decided that we wanted to do something about that. And here's the coolest part. Only $120 per year feeds a child for an entire year. For $120, you can feed a kid for 365 days a year. That kid is guaranteed going to have food in their belly, and they're going to avoid a lot of sickness, a lot of pain, and potentially even death because they're actually fed, which is an amazing thing. And so anyways, to wrap all this up, we decided that we wanted to make that our thing for the end of this year. And we wanted to invite you guys into that. So I asked them, I said, hey, what's the standard size of like a village that would have a group of kids in it that we could try and take down a whole village and go, we're gonna try and sponsor all these kids in this one village so that no kid in that entire village has to go without food at any point this year. How many kids would that be? And they're like, oh, a lot of the communities we work in roughly have like 100 kids in them. So I said, great, well, that would be $12,000 that we'd be looking to raise to cover 100 kids for all their food for an entire year, 365 days a year. And they were like, that'd be amazing if we could pull that off. And so we said, we can totally pull that off. We can make that happen. We're going to take this to our community. We're going to ask people who listen to the podcast, who go through our masterminds, who are friends of ours, colleagues in the creative space, to give 1 day worth minimum of their yearly wages. Take your revenue, divide that by 365 to the partnership that we have going on with Convoy of Hope right now to feed 100 kids for the entire year of 2026. Now, we launched this last night to a group of mastermind grads, actually, and in only about an hour and a half, they raised already over $5,000. So by the time this podcast comes out, I'm sure that total is going to be even further than that, but we're wanting to get to $12,000 raised in the partnership for Convoy Hope on behalf of us, the creative world, the creative community, people that are solopreneurs. So if you listen to the show, here's our ask. This is Christy and I's ask. We would really ask you to consider, would you consider feeding kids with us? $120 can feed one child for an entire year. How many kids do you want to take? How many kids can you take on this year? Take a look at your business from this whole year and go, what could I give, right? You could, if you want to use the 1 day example as a good baseline, do it. Take all your revenue, divide it by 365, and then contribute that. We put a link in the description of this podcast. If you want to join us in there, you can also check in on the total and see where we're at as a community.
And maybe we already hit 12,000. Well, great. We're going to do another 12,000.
Yeah, we're just going to keep going. We're going to fund it over 12,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're super excited about this. This is something that I've been thinking about for months. We've kind of been getting the details figured out. And then I'll tie this back into what Christy had just shared about the loss of our baby a couple weeks ago. But once that happened, we were already planning on doing this. But once that happened, I was like, man, if we feel the way about losing our child that never even took a breath outside of your womb, never walked yet, we lost this baby as it was growing in you. And we had that much care and love for this child because life is so precious. I can't imagine what it would feel like for a parent who's got a kid they just can't feed. And they're doing everything they can to feed this kid, and they can't, and the kid gets sick and gets a disease, and then the kid ends up dying. Or even if the kid doesn't die, but just has a very, very low quality of life because they don't have enough food, I was like, all right, that's it. Yeah. Like, in celebration of us celebrating our daughter who didn't make it here on earth and is in heaven, I'm like, let's do something that is going to help kids that really need some help. So in celebration of our daughter, Noah, N-O-A, female spelling.
No H.
No H, which we think is a really cute name. in honor of our daughter, we thought that we would do this. And so Christy and I already matched $2,800 for donations that already went in. So we already took that and threw that in the pot. So that's our ask for you. I know I'm just kind of pitching this and running on long with it, but yeah, do you have anything to say about that? We really believe in this, and we're super excited. We're actually going to have somebody from Convoy come on the podcast and share some stories in the coming weeks, maybe in the next 2 months, and share about their feeding program and share about what Convoy's been doing. We're really excited for that.
Yeah,
it's gonna
you guys,
be great.
I think when I first started my business, I was like, man, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for making money. I feel guilty for focusing on building this business for myself. And while I love what I do and it's so cool to be able to provide for my own family and provide for myself. And there's a lot of independence that comes with that. At the same time, I had this little feeling of guilt of just but is this enough? Is it just a rat race? Is there any meaning to this? And I think it's completely shifted over the last 8+ years I've been running this business, is that I've started to realize you have free will. You have free will to choose with intention how you want to make an impact with your life, with your business. And I think business is actually such a vehicle for good. I have completely shifted from if you just want to do good in the world, you just need to go and work at a nonprofit or anything like that. And those are great. That's awesome. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But there is actually so much ability to do good with your own business because you have complete control over what you do with the resources that you have and what impact you can create through your own business. And I will tell you, there is nothing more fulfilling. No $108,000 month, no new record year, no shoot, no anything that will ever match the fulfillment that comes from looking at a situation and going, wow, I saw a need and I was actually able to fill it, right? I was able to cause impact to someone I don't even know halfway around the world. And a kid is going to live because of what I did, because I chose to bet on myself and start my business. Yeah. So if you want to be a part of this, we would love to invite you to do it with us. We've already donated to it. Our whole community is doing it. We're going to be sharing about it from the rooftops. We're so excited about it. So jump in with us. Celebrate the end of your year, of your business year in a really cool way.
Yep. So if you want the link to jump on in and do that with us, you can go to Instagram, just comment on any post or send us a DM. Just write us the word Convoy. Or go to the link in the description of this YouTube video, this Spotify podcast, Apple podcast, and you can join us and we can feed some kids. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
There's a specific link that you'll be able to hit that'll show where it's tracking and it'll all track on there and everything like that. If you go to the Convoy of Hope website and you donate there, that's totally fine. You just won't
message
be
me,
accounted.
Convoy. We'll send you the link.
We'll send you the specific link and it'll be awesome. So
that's what I'm saying. Go in the link in the description of this podcast and I'll put that actual link in there.
Perfect.
So that's the link where you can contribute to that. And it's a tax deduction, which is awesome. They're a registered charity here in the U.S. So you also get a deduction off your taxes for any contribution, which is really, really cool. So, guys, Merry Christmas. Merry freaking Christmas. Happy holidays to you. Hope you guys have an awesome time off. Take some time off. Spend some time with your family. And just the people you love.
Yeah.
And get excited about what next year is going to look like. We've got some really fun stuff coming up and planned for 2026. We're super thankful that you're part of our community. If you made it this far, I'm so glad you made it this far. It's super cool that we got to kind of hang out today and talk about some really good stuff, some really hard stuff, and then some really real stuff that we're trying to make happen. So, we'd love to have you join us in that. And from us, from Christy and I, the team here behind Creative Rise that makes this all happen, Merry Christmas to you and to all.
Good night.
Good night.